turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. And welcome to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I can't hear myself in this, so you need to turn it up. There you go. That's better. I'm Michelle Malcolm, and it's a pleasure to be in your company today. And we are going to begin today's show with some special guests who are here in studio. Starting the show today with just make sure everybody's microphone is muted. Starting the show today with a paid segment, a sponsored segment where we're going to be talking to members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, because they have a special event coming up soon, and we're going to hear a little bit more about that in a short while. But before we dive into the event, I'm going to give those who are here an opportunity to say hello and introduce themselves to our audience. And so let me just make sure that I get your names up on the screen so that everybody can see who you are. All right, let's see. Okay, so we're going to begin first and foremost with the lovely lady to my right.
All right, we got it. Thank you so much.
And make sure you're talking right into that microphone.
Thank you so much, Michelle. It's such a pleasure to be here on the other side of the mic.
I know, right?
Yes, I am Cheryl Joaquin Alexander, and we're with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Mm-hmm.
I am the Caribbean service missionary for the church with the Brigham Young University Pathway Connect program, in which we are helping persons to prepare themselves through education. And we're going to be talking about, as our Director of Communications and Elder will share with you, our upcoming General Conference. And it's the 192nd.
No, before we go into all of that, I want to get everybody introduced first.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm going ahead.
So let's push that microphone over to Mr. Dean and give Mr. Dean an opportunity to introduce himself. So, Mr. Dean, I need you to take off that mask, please, because you know COVID in here. And talk directly into the microphone for us.
Good afternoon, Michelle. How are you?
I am excellent. How you doing?
Excellent. My name is Keith Dean, and I am the Elders Quorum President for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints here, our branch here in Nassau.
Okay, great. So what we're going to do now, before we introduce our third guest, because we have to get her all set up, we are going to talk a little bit about the work of the church itself. What is the philosophy of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Let's begin there. And since you have the microphone, Mr. Dean, we'll start with you, and then we'll push it back over to Ms. Joaquin Alexandre.
Well, the philosophy of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is firstly definitely rooted in the name in which it calls itself, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So our
Okay.
philosophy is centered and rooted in Jesus the Christ. He is the leader of our church, the restored gospel here upon the face of the earth, in this, the final dispensation. And so everything that he believes and he has taught, that is our philosophy in a nutshell.
Okay. And what does that mean exactly in terms of the call of men to be prophets and apostles? I don't know if you want to handle that or if you want to throw it back to Cheryl to answer that.
No. Well, we believe that the Lord, when he set up his church in the old days, that he set it up for the main purpose of as the scriptures teach, to the edification and for the glory and to bring individuals to perfection, as he stated, be therefore perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. So the church was set up in that way, and it was organized and structured with apostles, prophets, pastors, teachers, deacons, as the scripture teaches. So we feel that if his church is to exist today, it'll be existing and structured in that same format, okay, with apostles and prophets. And so that is why we have prophets ordained and called to lead and guide the church, and not just the church, but the world in these times.
So then the next question leads to, what do these prophets and apostles do according to your church's following, belief?
The prophet and the apostles are the priesthood leaders of the church. Okay, so they are the ones who the prophet receives direct revelation, okay, and from our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ as to how the church should be administered and how it should be run. Now, understanding the priesthood, though, one must understand that all male men are able to have the priesthood, have the Melchizedek priesthood once they're 19. Okay?
Okay.
Then the Aaronic priesthood is given to younger men of lower ages. So it's paramount that we understand that the priesthood can be held in any individual home as members of the church, so that the priesthood can bless the homes, because that is the purpose of the priesthood. The priesthood is there to bless the lives of individuals within their homes. I remember when I first was ordained to be an elder and given the priesthood, the person who laid his hands upon my head and gave me the priesthood, he said, Dean, always remember that the priesthood is not for perfect people, but it's made to perfect people, help people, and perfect them. So that is what the priesthood of God is supposed to be all about. To be perfecting, helping husbands perfect their wives and their children and give service to them.
Okay, we're still working on getting our other guest into the studio properly. So while we're working on that, Ms. Cheryl, let's pull them back to you. And so we're going to ask you now about what these apostles would have said in the last general conference.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Michelle. Since I would just want to preface this a little bit, since the onslaught of COVID, we have gained a new appreciation for the council of the leaders of our church, including the apostles and the prophets. Just before we went into lockdown, as a matter of fact, a week before government told us that the church had to close, we received instructions that our branch should close, and that was a week before. And we were, everyone was really uncertain, and fear started some cases to set in. And we heard our first message that we heard from our leaders reminded us that we need not fear, and the message was, if ye are prepared, you need not fear. And this was indeed quite uplifting for us because we knew that we had been prepared previously with the councils about a year or two previous to the onslaught of COVID. We had entered into a new dimension of ministry where we were told that our normal 3-hour sessions in church was going to be reduced to 2 hours. And we were going to be going into a phase where we were whom focused and church supported, in that we were being encouraged to teach the gospel within our homes. And as Brother Dean would have said, with the priesthood being in our homes, the men were able to administer the sacrament, and really throughout this 2-year period, we were unprepared because we were able to get the teachings that would have normally happened in the church. We were able to get that in our homes. And so with every other conference that happens every 6 months, we look forward to that council that we get.
Okay. So I know you have a major event that's coming up soon. So let's talk a bit about that event.
Okay, so the event that we're having is the 192nd semi-annual general conference, and that is where leaders come together and they give counsel to members and the world at large as to the revelations that they have received with regards to the going forth of the gospel, and also in terms of helping us to prepare for the second coming of Jesus Christ. And so that will be held this coming weekend on Saturday, and Sunday is normally, and as will be the case here, broadcast over the internet on our websites. And we're happy to have for the third time for it to be broadcast on the Sunday sessions through Global 99.5. And again, that will be the morning and the afternoon session. And I'm sure Willa Mae Camp, who is the Director of Communications, will be able to tell a little bit more.
Well, we're still working on getting her set up. So,
so no problem.
So let's work on that.
All right. No
Mr. Dean, I think we, oh, I see what's happening here. Okay. We're just getting your camera back. Okay. So let me try and add Miss Kemp to the stream. Let's see now what's happening here. We just lost Mr. Dean altogether. So let's push the microphone over. Now this light in the back of Miss Dean is making it very difficult for us to see her. So she's sort of looking like a silhouette, but it is what it is. So Miss Dean, I need you to lean over and talk into that microphone. Miss Kemp, sorry. Why am I saying Dean? Because Mr. Dean is a Dean. My apologies, Miss Kemp. All right, so I need you to lean into that as close as you can, and I need you to bring your camera over as well. Yeah, let's try to see if we can. There you go. That's better. All right, so now let's hear from you now, in terms of how many countries are going to view this conference. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, actually, the entire world is going to view this conference. It's a worldwide general conference.
Okay, remember now, this is your camera, so you need to push that against the other two. Yeah, because we're seeing only your neck. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, right there is good. Let's just hope it stays put. Okay, Mr. Dean, you want to hold that for her? Okay, so I'm sorry to have interrupted you. Go ahead now.
That's fine. We know these things come up, but it's a worldwide general conference, and so it will be viewed throughout the entire world, where there's the means for it to be reviewed or viewed.
Okay.
We have a total of 16.5 million members, and we're hoping that all of them will be viewing it. And in addition to that, there are many, many people who wait for our general conferences to be aired because of the inspiring messages that come out of it.
Right. So
our leaders.
What can we expect from this conference? I mean, for somebody who this will be the first time attending a conference as such, what are some of the things that we can expect from this conference?
Well, you can expect lots of things. We're going to be talking about your everyday situations. how important prayer is for family. We do know that we do have issues with family togetherness in the world, and we're going to talk about what we can do as members and as other viewers to keep their families intact. Um, you will hear about the power of prayer. You will hear about the blessing of the priesthood. You will hear about the importance of family worship together. You will be hearing about a myriad of items that sometimes churches don't generally even address. And so it's going to be inspiring. It's going to be geared toward every single soul that you could consider. So you can look forward to that.
Sounds wonderful. I know that there are many issues, and we're bringing Mr. Dean back into the stream now. There are many issues that are facing people in general, and I would suspect that the church is also being impacted. The church is also being impacted, I would think, by things like poverty and the pandemic. So, how has the Church of Latter-day Saints been surviving the pandemic? What are some of the things that you as a church have been able to do to help your members to make it through? Who wants to handle that?
I'll touch on it.
Okay.
The one thing the church is known for is humanitarian efforts. Okay, locally. We have in these kinds of times, we have assisted our membership. Okay, assisted our membership with a lot of the assisted our membership with outreach with respect to financial assistance and food assistance, so that they can maintain their sustenance throughout this pandemic. We've also, from a worldwide perspective, the church has always had the humanitarian effort as one of its number one goals, because we truly believe that we should love our neighbors as ourselves, regardless of what nationality you are, what religious affiliation you may be. The church reaches out and assists wherever possible. I know here locally we have assisted with the Red Cross. We have worked with the Red Cross. We have worked with the Children's Emergency Hospital, and and the Elizabeth States girl. Okay, so girls program. So we truly have a humanitarian effort behind the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And we're excited. We get excited about these kinds of things, to be able to reach out and to touch the lives of all of God's children.
Sounds divine. Okay, let's throw it back to Cheryl to give us some final words as it relates to where, when, how people who want to be a part of this conference can, make themselves available to it.
Okay, thank you so much, Michelle. Just back to a question that you asked about how many countries. The church gave some numbers that I saw was interesting, and the first time I saw it, but it said that we're going to have 5 sessions of general conference.
Okay.
We're going to have 360 members of the Tabernacle Choir, and most people know about our Tabernacle Choir.
Yes.
It's a worldwide choir. It's going to be translated in 94 different languages. We will have 15 prophets and apostles, the 12 apostles, along with the presidency, which has 3 president and 2 counselors, and then it will be throughout 221 different countries and territories.
Amazing.
And again, we are happy that it's going to be broadcast locally in the Bahamas, and we're really, really excited about that. One of the other questions that we were excited about in terms of the messages that our president gave last conference is that he encouraged our members and the world to get rid of the debris in their lives. And the debris represented, some of the bad habits that we have, some of those things that we are, that are in fact separating us from the blessings of God.
Right.
And that really impacted myself and a lot of persons to really assess their lives, to see those things, particularly in this COVID environment, that they are making sure that they have access to all the power that Jesus Christ wants us to have. And so we're looking forward to hearing his words, in addition to talks with, as it relates to us being more kinder and being examples of our Savior Jesus Christ, and ways in which we can find peace in our lives. And so we are excited about that. Last time also, our mission president spoke, and he invited other organizations to partner with the church. We want to help the world, and we have a great deal of resources, and whether it's churches locally or or NGOs or whatever, we're inviting them to partner with us so that we can help, just as Jesus did while he was on this earth.
Okay, so again, give us details about when, where, how persons can log in and be.
So again, it will be on Global 99.5 on Monday. It will start with the music and the spoken word at 11:30. Then it will go into the first session from 12 until 2. The next session will be from 4 until 6. We also have Saturday sessions, which can be, you can log on to those via our website, churchofjesuschrist.org, and our YouTube pages. You can also log on to those.
And the date?
Look forward when we can actually go and be a part of that conference in Salt Lake City again when COVID is over.
Yes.
But until then, we're just happy to have technology where we can still.
Thank God for
hear the
technology.
words. We're grateful for that.
Yes, the date. Give us
Yes,
the date.
the date will be this Saturday, the 2nd and 3rd. So the timing will be the same, from 12 until 2, and then from 4 until 6. And then we have a session for the women, which will be from 8 until 10. Yes.
Okay.
On Saturday. And then again on Sunday on Global, which they can catch, and the other links from 12 to 2, and from 4 to 6. And make sure get in early, the 11 o'clock, beautiful singing through the 12, through the Tabernacle Choir. We have that music and the spoken word.
Sounds
and
wonderful.
The church's website, Brother Dean is reminding me, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.org.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for entertaining
Cheryl, Joaquin, Alexandre, Keith Dean, and Willa Mae Kemp from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You want to check out their event this coming weekend right here on Global 99.5 FM. When we come back on the other side of the break, y'all know the drill. It's Friday, TGIF. We're going to have an open line show for the rest of the show where we talk about the week that was. Stay with us.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a live pink and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Youngevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. Y'all know that experiment where they with the, I can't remember, I think it's Maslow's experiment. Anyway, where they had like a dog and they would ring a bell, and every time the bell rang, then they would give the dog something certain to eat. And after a while, whenever they rang the bell, whether something was coming or not, then that dog started to salivate because they associated the bell with eating that particular thing. Yeah, some of y'all out there know what I'm talking about, right? Well, what does that have to do with us today here on GPS? You know, I in trouble because every time I see that Tiki Bikini Hut commercial now, I start thinking about a particular dish that I like to get from there. So I have a bit of a problem, y'all. I got to figure out how to work my way around this psychologically, because every time I see that Tiki Bikini Hut commercial, my mind goes on one particular oxtail dish. But anyway, let me stay focused. I just want to encourage you guys, just be warned that it could be addictive. But I want to encourage you guys to go check out Tiki Bikini Hut on Junkanoo Beach, where Byron Coley Austin and his crew have put together a great experience for you. It's an outdoor type of setting, but you're covered. You're not in you complete, open, but you are covered. But it is an outdoor environment right on the beach. And you'll be able to enjoy a wonderful meal, great friendly atmosphere. They make you feel so welcome when you walk in through the door. Everybody they treat like royalty in there. And definitely go and check them out. Let them know Michelle Malcolm sent you from GPS, and tell them you want the Michelle Malcolm special. Now, I know what that is, so I know what you can get. But thanks to Byron and all of our sponsors who make GPS possible to come to you every single day. We do appreciate your support. And if you have a business or a service that you provide that you'd like to promote, hey man, we're better than right here on GPS on Global 99.5 FM. Give us a call. Let us hook you up. We'll get your commercial on air. We'll, if you want to come in and talk about your product, we can offer that service as well. And we'll make sure that everybody knows what you got going on. Okay, so speaking of what's going on, today is Friday. And you know what happens on a Friday around here. Every Friday we have a TGIF show where we look at the week that was and give you an opportunity to sound off and let us hear from you about, some of the things or issues that are of concern to you or something that you want to bring attention to. And so it's an open line show, which means that we got to throw the telephone numbers out and the numbers to call 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0271, or 326-0272, 326-0272. And our WhatsApp line is 824-9952, 824-9952. So let's look at the week that was. One of the stories that has been trending quite a bit is the revelation that a 40-year-old man who was having sex with a 14-year-old schoolgirl and was pretty much caught because a concerned neighbor or somebody in the vicinity called the police and gave them a tip. And when they showed up at the house, they heard allegedly some noises coming from the house that they felt were noises of sexual, activity. And when they entered the home, they met the schoolgirl putting on her school uniform. And the gentleman was taken into custody and subsequently charged and pled guilty to unlawful sexual intercourse. Because as we know in this country, you have to be at least 16 years old to give well, I learned something last night watching Wayne Monroe on television last night. According to Wayne Monroe, you have two different pieces of legislation or two different documents that govern this. So according to him, the penal code says that you can give consent at the age of 7. But the Sexual Offenses Act says, I don't care how much consent they give. If they less than 16, if they are younger than 16, as far as the law is concerned, it's not consent, and you in trouble with the law. So this young lady was 14 years old, having sex with this 40-year-old man, who they subsequently found after examining her that she's pregnant. So the man is accused of not just having sex with her, but impregnating her. He decided to plead guilty in exchange for a plea deal. And so the controversy is surrounding this plea deal, because with the plea deal, he only got 4 years in prison. And the acting director of public prosecutions made a statement after so many people expressed outrage at the fact that this man only got 4 years after sleeping with and impregnating a 14-year-old schoolgirl. And so the director of public prosecution made a statement that really upset people, because they interpreted his statement as him blaming the victim, because he said something to the effect that when you learn the circumstances of this case, you'll realize that, it's not as it appears, and we have a very hypersexualized young people and all this kind of stuff. And everybody's like, what? So is her fault that she too sexualized? She's the problem here? Like, at what point do you not put some responsibility on this 40-year-old man? So he then attempted to try and clarify what he was trying to say. And we're going to play that clip. And then after that, I'm going to introduce the clip from Wayne Monroe, which I don't know if it was able to settle anything. But anyway, let's go to the first clip from the acting director of public prosecutions.
I was in no way blaming her.
Acting DPP Franklin Williams says when one considers the fact of the 14-year-old that was impregnated.
I was in no way blaming her.
Acting DPP Franklin Williams says when one considers the fact of the 14-year-old that was impregnated by a 40-year-old back in 2020, who was sentenced earlier this week to 4 years in prison, there are a number of variables that come into play in this case.
I was in no way blaming her.
Acting DPP Franklin Williams says when one considers the fact of the 14-year-old that was impregnated by a 40-year-old back in 2020, who was sentenced earlier this week to 4 years in prison, there are a number of variables that come into play in this case. But what exactly are the facts?
This is a 14-year-old girl, and according to the facts, this happened during the height of the pandemic. And so she would have been home online and being instructed or at home. So those, that is what I was actually honing in.
According to police, the victim in question was found with the 40-year-old in a home after what they believed to be sexual noises coming from the inside. The teen was reportedly found putting on her uniform and reportedly told police that she met the man online. After a check by medical officials, it was confirmed that she was pregnant and reportedly had intercourse with the man on other occasions. Williams says the 4-year sentence was a part of a plea deal and the maximum for such offense can vary.
Whatever sentence is given as a result of a plea bargain is within the range of sentences which can be given for the offense to which the accused pleads guilty.
Williams says in his view, parents should be held accountable. He revealed that there are also a number of cases where the law is seeking to do just that.
We have several instances coming up where we, based on the fact, parents are going to be charged for, not properly being in control of their children. We have several of these matters where the child in question, the child victim in question, even brought to the attention of a parent that they were being abused or that they were engaging in sexual activities, and the parents demurred. The parents did nothing. So there are several matters where we're going to be bringing parents to court, and that really was my focus.
He's also bringing clarity to the charge of underage sexual intercourse and statutory rape.
A case of rape. This is not a case of...
It's not a case of statutory rape, though?
Well, you call it statutory rape by another name. It's not a case of rape. What it is that unlawful sexual intercourse simply acknowledges that a person who cannot legally give consent, and the age of consent legally in the Bahamas is 16 years. Okay. But the law recognizes that people engage in sexual intercourse even though they legally cannot. Now, the responsibility for that is not on the person who is under 16. The responsibility is on the person who is over 16.
Okay. So he tried his best to try to explain the position that he was coming from. People still weren't buying it. People were very angry and calling for his resignation or firing. And I see Gleason is asking, why did a plea deal come into play? And this is a question that a lot of people were asking. So then the Minister of National Security, Wayne Monroe, decided to make a statement. I think he may have been asked by the media to respond to the controversy surrounding the statement by the DPP. And then this is what he had to say. So let's go to clip number 2.
The public can be offended about sentencing level all they like. What the public has to do in order for us to be. The public can be offended about sentencing level all they like. What the public has to do in order for us to bring sense and balance. The public can be offended about sentencing level, all they like. What the public has to do in order for us to bring sense and balance is 1, what is the offense? 2, what is the sentencing policy? 3, what are the penalties awarded? I really don't give 2 hoots what somebody says. I would consider that's the penalty awarded. If I were advising the accused and somebody gets 7 years for raping somebody, I wouldn't have been advising my client to agree to 4 years for unlawful intercourse. Because I would say that if we go to court, you would say to the judge, he didn't rape her. She consented. The fact is, in law, her consent is neither here nor there. And if I were the defense counsel, I would have not accepted a plea deal with that higher level of penalty, and we would have gone to court, maybe in 5, 6, 7 years' time. I'll explain it like this. If you were to rape a virgin, and if you were to rape a prostitute, both are rape, you're likely to be awarded a higher sentence for raping a nun than raping a prostitute. That's just what the case law says, because you consider the impact of the offense, and considering the impact of the offense, you consider victim impact. So that's a part of sentencing.
Okay, so I know that the minister intended to sort of explain things, but his statement didn't help. Matter of fact, it made things worse. And I'm kind of glad that he went on Beyond the Headlines last night with Shanique Miller, because he was able to better explain what he was trying to say. And I'm glad that he did, because I sort of had a bit of a better understanding of what he was trying to say after that interview. Initially, just watching that clip just now, I was like, you talking about victim impact. This is a 14-year-old girl who is now pregnant. So that's going to impact her entire life. That's not important enough. But anyway, like I said, we're going to talk about his interview last night, because he sought to clarify what he was trying to say. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Afternoon, Michelle. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm wondering if we got any morality left in this country. or common sense, I should say. You know, Michelle, I respect anybody's opinion, as we all have the right to express them.
Mm-hmm.
But with all due respect to the Minister of National Security, to say that consent is neither here nor there, in my view, is completely, absolutely stupid. Okay? I just saw that clip you played just now. When I heard him say that, excuse me? The law, as I understand statutory rape, and I have 3 issues I'd like to quickly deal with today on your open line forum, so I'll make it quick on this one. I understand statutory rape. As long as a person is below the legal age of consent, they could say yes to intercourse all they want. If the person that they're having intercourse with is above 16, and he rightly said it, so the person above 16 is responsible. Statutory rape, therefore, simply means the law says you are guilty of a sexual crime if you have sex with somebody who is underage, whether or not that person gives consent. Exactly. That's what the law said. That's statutory rape.
Right. I want to read a comment from one of our Facebook viewers. This is from Rose. Rose says, "Hi, Michelle, and to all the fans out there. I am not giving the man right for what happened. That 14-year-old girl knew exactly what she was doing. She got dressed and went to the man's house. As a matter of fact, she met him online. These teenagers today are too womanish. If I was a judge, I would have let that man go scot-free." I agree with Mr. Monroe.
See, that may be so about the young lady, the young woman meeting this guy online, right? But the young woman was still under the legal age based on the statutory law of the land. In any event, that being said, Michelle, I mean, see, this is why I said yesterday, Michelle, when civil law is not based on moral law, God's law, you're going to have anarchy like this, and you're going to have stupidity in the law, as we're seeing and hearing some people talking. I mean, Wayne Monroe would plead for the man to have a lesser sentence?
No, that's, and again, I am glad that he went on Shanique's show last night, because after just listening to those clips, I was like, this man can't be serious. But he was, but after watching his interview last night, I understood what he was saying.
Okay.
Let me break it down for you. This in essence is what I understood from what he was saying on the interview last night. Keep in mind that prior to him becoming a minister of government, he was a lawyer that defended many persons who alleged
very prominent in the country.
So his point was this: when I was in that position, I would have advised a client, if you get 7 years for rape, there's no way I'm going to advise a client to plead for 4 years for something that was not technically rape, because even though she's not legally allowed to give consent, she consented to the act. Now, one of the things that he did say last night was that now that I'm sitting on the other side of the table, I know how the defense lawyer thinks, because I was once in that seat. So I am now going to outthink that lawyer, because I'm now going to think in the way he's thinking, and then I'm going to say, okay, what do I need to do to counter that? Because I know what he's coming with. Now, let me continue. One of the things that he said was that everybody wants these stiffer penalties, right? Everybody say 4 years for sleeping with a 14-year-old girl, whether she consented or not, is ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
And I agree with that.
But here was something that he said that I thought was pretty powerful. He said, okay, let's say we can hit you with 14 years. The problem is this: I ain't gonna take no plea deal for no 14-year-old deal. I can say I can take my chances in court. Now, we have a court system that is terribly backed up. So you're talking years before that case comes before the court.
I heard him say that, yeah.
By that time, you have no guarantee whether this 14-year-old girl at this time, or at the time of the act, who is now, by the time the court case comes up, 17, 18 years old, you have no guarantee that she is even going to show up for court, especially,
or even still be interested in pursuing the case.
Exactly, but she may not be interested now, because remember now, in this particular case,
it's out of her hands at this point, though.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is this: she will become what is known as a hostile witness if she shows up at all. And that could affect the case in such a way that he gets off scot-free. So his argument is, we all want stiffer penalties, but I rather get something than nothing. I rather this man spend 4 years in prison because he pleaded guilty than him getting off scot-free if we go to court, because she may not show up to court at all.
Right.
That's his argument.
No, I mean, I mean something or nothing. I rather the something rather than the nothing.
Agreed. But will you get that? That was the point that he tried to raise last night.
But
will you get that? That is what we all want.
But if we were to make our laws to behave common sense and based on God's guidance and directions, we would more than likely get what we want.
Let's just be frank and real with this, okay?
Sure enough.
We definitely have a problem with our backed up cases in court
system,
right? There's no question. So the first thing I would think that you would need to do, and I've heard talks about this, them looking into this. The first thing you need to do, or at least people have been calling for it, is you need to have a court specifically for these sexual offenses.
Right.
So I don't have to wait 3, 4, 5 years for my case to be heard.
Those types of cases go to the magistrate court?
We don't have a specific court set aside for these cases.
No, I mean Supreme versus magistrate. What I'm wondering is
I think that depends on how
late.
I think it depends on whether or not you I don't know the legal term. But the point is, Supreme or magistrate, the point is there is this backlog of cases.
Yes.
So if you had a court specifically set up for these types of cases, then there is no excuse of, well, it's going to take us 3, 4, 5 years to get this to court. And by then, she may not be willing to at least get it to court faster. That's number one. Number two, he said last night that according to our penal code, a child of 7 years old can give consent.
When I heard you say that a while, Michelle, I cringed.
Now,
I cringed.
When he said it's neither here or there, what he was trying to say is the child could afford to say yes, but when you get caught, according to the Sexual Offences Act, you are guilty.
Yes.
So don't come to me about this child at 7 said yes. But clearly, we need to change and fix the penal code.
Now, I'm glad you said that, Michelle, because Obi Wilchcombe, the Minister of Social Services, was on the news today, commenting on that very same point. The view now is that the government is contemplating looking at raising the minimum age of the age of consent. And Michelle, let me tell you what is so ironic and painful about that very comment. If memory serves me correct, and I stand to be corrected because I have no intention to cast any unfair light on anybody, so I'm doing this very respectfully. If memory serves me correctly, it was between 1990 and 1992 that I would have heard in the House of Assembly when shortly before Mr. Pilling got voted out, that the PLP was the one that lowered the age of consent from 18 to 16. Between 1990 and 1992.
Another thing that I thought was interesting that he said last night.
What's that?
If you are dealing with heterosexual sex between a male and a female, the age of consent is 16. Right? The legal age of consent is 16. The legal age of consent is 16. But if you are dealing with homosexual sex, where it's male and male or female and female, then the legal age of consent is 18. Now, help me make that make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It is up to consent is consent, or the lack thereof is the lack thereof. Why should there be any discrimination between? Michelle, let me not go any further. I'm going to get sick if I do, and I don't mean physically sick, but I mean disgusted sick. I am tired of idiots making laws. I'm sick and tired of it, Michelle. Honestly, I am. Is this what we've been paying people over the years to go into Parliament and do? In any event, let me get to my other 2 points quickly, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey.
And Rose, I coming back to your comment on the other side of the break. Because we gotta address that.
Michelle, until it was her daughter, I suppose she probably would have been thinking that way until her daughter or her child or her family member get caught up in a mess like that. Lord, I tell you. But not Ryan Pender, Toby Smith. His court is supposed to have been heard this week in the Supreme Court. What I wanted to actually clarify is something I said when you had him on the show last week regarding my experience with Crown Land. I had gotten a Crown grant, not a Crown lease.
I see.
Yeah, and I paid for it on April 16, 2004. Never got my Crown grant documents until January of this year, 2022.
Right.
My point is, when I made that comment last week, I wanted to, of course, let Toby know that I empathize with his situation. But it is so disgusting that Bahamians have to go through this crap in our own country, and us Bahamians doing it ourselves. I'm not going to say too much right now because I'd like to wait to hear from Toby Smith to see how the Supreme Court would have ruled. But I just wanted to, again, give my support to Toby Smith and Prescott Smith, who are two Bahamians I know for sure are battling situations like that. And my last contribution for today, I was happy to note, I heard you talking with C. Alan Johnson the other day in respect to a number of issues, and carbon credit, I think, was one of them you were talking with him about. And I saw in The Guardian yesterday morning, I think, wherein the government is getting a non-refundable financial facility. Why did they just say grant right up from the World Bank, I think, and they're going to be putting in solar energy stations, 3 of them, I believe, here in Nassau, and I think maybe 2 of them in Africa. I'm happy to see that, Michelle, because now the Bahamas is really and truly beginning to get it. That we got to get away from fossil fuels, and we've got to make the cost of doing business in this country lower and consistently lower.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to mention that point because myself, Graham Weatherford, and others over the years have been screaming loudly all the time, making noise that solar energy is the way to go. So it is refreshing to see that happening, and then the government is also contemplating now using our country's carbon credits to begin to generate revenue for the country. That was in The Guardian as well. So hats off to you and Sea Island for being 2 of the champions in that regard for keeping that issue alive in this country. So I just wanted to mention those 3 points of interest today on your show. And please, I'm going to listen to you and hear how you're going to deal with Rose with her comment, because I can't believe a woman, or anyone for that matter, but particularly a woman, would have an attitude like that, with all due respect to Rose.
Anyway, we can talk about it.
Yeah, take care, my dear.
Got to take a break. Thanks so much, Wally. We have to take this break. But on the other side, I want to definitely look at that comment, because Rose is not alone in thinking that. And it speaks to a greater issue in our society when it comes to victim blaming. Because I don't care how forward she is, she's a 14-year-old child. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company. Today is an open line show because every Friday, that's how we roll around here. And today's no different. So the telephone number is 260-271, 3260271 or 3260272, 3260272. And our WhatsApp line is 824-9952. Now, I promised you that I was going to go back to a comment that was made by one of our Facebook viewers, Rose. Rose says, hi to all the fans out there. I'm not giving the man right for what happened. That 14-year-old girl knew exactly what she was doing. She got dressed and went to the man's house. As a matter of fact, she met him online. These teenagers today are too womanish. If I was that judge, I would have let that man go scot-free. Okay, Rose. Here's my challenge. We're talking about a 14-year-old. And if we can remember back to when we were 14, you think you know everything. You are the authority on everything. And, I know everything. I've fought teenagers. Teenagers know everything. That's a part of being a teenager. You know everything. And the reality is you know very little at that age. But you think you know everything. And at that age, it has been scientifically proven that teenagers make bad choices because their brain is still being developed. So they make erratic decisions. They make bad choices. That's a part of being a teenager. We are talking about a 40-year-old man. Even if this girl, it is being alleged that she reached out to him first online, that she was the one who initiated contact with the man, at what point do we not say that you as an adult have a responsibility to say, listen, little girl, go sit down. Now, you may say to me, well, she didn't look 14. You ever heard of the thing called ID? But you can't tell me that this man didn't know he was dealing with a child because the child was caught putting on a school uniform after the police say they heard sexual noises. So he knew he was dealing with a schoolgirl. At what point do we not say that as an adult, you have a responsibility? How could that only be on the 14-year-old, whether she approached him first or not? She is a child. And this is a part of the problem that we have in this society, where we excuse bad behavior from people because, oh, that child too womanish. So if this child were 10 and approached this man, that still give him a right? If the child was 7, because now we know the penal code says a child at 7 could give consent. At what point do we not put the responsibility where it is squarely supposed to be? A 40-year-old man. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Madam.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Excellent. How are you?
This is your friend. Myself and you already agreed that both the FNM and the PLP, both parties are not good example of what the family structure is all about. These issues now you discussed today is obvious that something is wrong in this nation. I will not elaborate too much on the topic, but it shows, as you allow me to continue to spread my message until we decide. The FNM and the PLP, you check them out. that will not be an issue that neither party would raise about the erosion of the family structure. And listen to me. I will say this. I am a man, a big, bold man who never been structured or who have never heard the Bible read to him or never read or say the 23rd Psalms. He's a dangerous man and a loaded gun. Trust me, we need to have some topic on the family structure, because guess what? The church has failed us, the politicians have failed us, the FNM and PLP, ain't none want to talk about the erosion of the family structure. They play politics and they will continue to bounce this ball around with politics. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, thank you so much for calling. We clearly have so much work to do in this country. I just don't even know where to begin. Because for anybody to say she knew exactly what she was doing and let him go free, with all due respect, Rose, you're wrong. And this is a part of the reason why our society is where it's at right now, because we refuse to make people accountable for the wrong that they do. There is no way you can tell me that a 40-year-old man should, in his mind, think it's okay to be sexing a 14-year-old girl to the point of impregnating her, and I can blame her? What kind of mixed up society is this? Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, good afternoon, Miss Michelle Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
Yes, Berenice Johnson, the original. I'm giving thanks to the Almighty God through Jesus Christ of Nazareth and the Holy Spirit enveloping us. And good afternoon to my mortal boss, former Prime Minister Hubert Alexander Ingham, God's leader's leader. Now, I will be short because Miss Michelle Malcolm, my non-profit organization, advocacy, was Bahamas Against Rape. Now, Mr. Ingham gave an interview, I think it was March 17th. In that interview, please pull it up, you can share it with others online, where he said, where he put forward in the Select Committee of Crime to take action against marital rape and all forms of sexualized crimes, including what now is being discussed. All of his colleagues voted against him. Please, that's why I always call and respect him and give him love and respect, and only Jesus Christ of Nazareth could get between us. Now, the second point is why I took up the advocacy. I was raped, and I was used as a decoy. A decoy means to penetrate and to infiltrate certain activities that were going on here in the Bahamas. It did not just start, okay? And I want you, Miss Michelle Malcolm, all those women who are out there having heart attack on Apostle Utah Taylor Roll's show. I think Captain Arthur Swan, he was there with him. I spoke to this page, this page, I think it was April 23rd, 2013. If a vagina could speak, what would it say? It was in collaboration with the New York Times, I think, some Miss Everett or somebody who was out there. Now, all of the Bahamas Crisis Center, everybody was present, okay? And if you know what went down, I think Miss Chrissy Love was still at 96.9. I called in and I spoke out against it. I was raped and the same thing happened. So I support the Minister of National Security 100% because our Bahamas Police Force was doing investigations and it was intentionally and maliciously put off. Right now, here I am through Hay Street. I was not supposed to be here until now. I was here from 1985. I do not have shoes. Know why? Because I give it up on nationhood duty. And those women has yet, not one has come here to Hay Street to say what is going on. And because I went to the United States Embassy, that's where I was advised to go when anytime I have difficulties I went there to seek assistance, some international grants, and they blocked that assistance because Bahamas Against Rape and Human Trafficking has the details of what happened. The chaperones are enriching themselves. Parents are not to blame. Okay, and I would like Minister Monroe to cause to happen a live calling with this woman named Berenice Johnson at the Paul Parkinson Center. I was supposed to get money to put down there at the police center.
Wrap it up,
yes,
Berenice.
Yes, ma'am.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
I'm wrapping it up, and this anyone who is perturbed of what is the outcome, that is the law. The late Paul Lawrence Adley said that the judiciary is flawed, and we in the Bahamas Police Force was trying to fix it. And you had some high-profile women who obstructed it because they were enriching themselves.
Okay.
Some are former woman parliamentarians.
Okay, thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. Okay. Rose, you ain't giving up. Rose says, when you are a child, act as a child. If you act as a woman, you get what women get. Rose, I think you need to go find the Lord. You are so wrong. And it is that type of attitude that men, that what's the word I'm looking for? You given, I don't know if empowerment is the right word, but you making them think that it's okay for them to do what they're doing. Because she was looking for it. She won't act like woman, so she get what a woman get. How about requiring him to act like a man and not see her as some sexual object, but a child who really perhaps even needs help? How about that? How about requiring him to be a man? How are you not bringing that into your equation, Rose, and your way of thinking? At what point is he required to be a man? Not a male, because there is a difference. A man. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
And there is a difference between man and male.
Big difference. Big difference.
And female and woman.
Oh, boy, I tell
you. Miss Malcolm, what the lady said, she say, if a vagina could have talked, what it would have said? I guess life, eh? Miss Malcolm, I know Rose must still listen. Rose, don't stop. I understand what Miss Malcolm saying, though. Even if you think you're a woman, and you should take what you get and all that stuff, really, the brain ain't organized to really make them decisions. That's why we call them minor. You're right with what you're saying, Rose. Michelle right with what she's saying, too. I agree with you, Rose. A lot of us here agree with you. It might sound bad, but it's the truth. See, the truth don't care how you feel, if it sounds bad or not. Rose, we too hypocritical in this country. We know what's going on. I know the same with a little girl right now, 14-year-old. It might be hundreds of cases like that being going on. 40 years old, some of them 70 and 60. And Rose, women doing it too with young boys, you know. Rose, are you aware that some of these parents take little boys and little girls there to help to pay the bills and stuff? Rose, they going as far as letting their sweetheart or their boyfriend sleep with their children. And like I say, Rose, they fooling with the little boys and the little girls. If you only could be a fly on the wall or check social service, you would hear the cases. So Rose, 1,000 or so, I mean, we agree with you 1,000%. But don't forget now, although they care on like woman and man, they brain ain't working to really understand. See, they even ain't thinking about what could happen if something go wrong or what could happen next. So Michelle, you think I said that right to Rose?
I am just flabbergasted. I am just, y'all got me. I don't even know what to say. I can't believe.
Are you aware that one more thing, Rose and Michelle and listeners, are you aware that it was reported on the news and the police officers saying and the security guards are saying in these schools, they're finding not just marijuana. Marijuana is a joke. They're finding cocaine. And it's alleged that the little girls, and why are they carrying on like this, although they're 14 and 15 and even ain't listening to their parents and playing like this woman? They on these pills, what you call ecstasy and Smalley and all of this brick and all that stuff. I don't know who gave it to them. We need to find out during the investigation. But my real point today, Rose and Michelle and the listeners, is what Franklin Williams had to say. They say he's the acting director. I say thank God for that man, and let's hurry up and make him director. We need more people to speak their mind and say the truth. The Lord allow him to come back and have to rebut. Some people think like he take back what he say. He add more, you know what he say? As parents need to be more responsible for our children.
Nobody is disputing that parental guidance is necessary. Nobody.
No, that ain't what we mean. Sorry.
Nobody's disputing that parents need to
That
be.
is necessary, but don't miss the point. The point is what we're saying after that is some consequences. We have a responsibility until these children reach a certain age. We had sex, having fun, and make these children.
I understand what you're saying. Parental involvement is necessary. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand that. But
you coming out the house with a gun? You coming out the house with a knife?
At what point do we not say, as a 40-year-old man?
Michelle, he should have get 100 years, but the law don't listen. You say you listen to Wayne Monroe, and since he say what he had to say, now you understand. The man break it down to tell us with all them loopholes, what the lawyers call loopholes. They get that bargaining system. If you explain to the prosecution what you do, how you do it, who all do it, and what happened, you get you win the
Caller,
charge.
I understand that. What I'm saying though is for us as a society to come forward and say she get what she looking for because she too womanish.
No, I don't agree with that.
I understand the situation with the law and the penal code and the sexual offenses. I get that. I really understood it last night after listening to Wayne Monroe. But our problem is we have this attitude in our society where, she look for that. She too womanish. Let him go free.
Well, Michelle, maybe she too womanish and she look for it, but it didn't mean that the man must go free, and it didn't mean that she get a brain in her head working properly. That's where the parents come in. That's why we have to make sure parents teach. We teach our children in our homes how to carry on, to satisfy with what we have. It's so much different cases, different circumstances. We don't know. But the gentleman in the director of prosecution or the acting director, Mr. Williams, he was right. Parents, you know how much things happen. I mean, I don't know if I don't hear everything, but I hear too much. And for what these people are doing with these children, they're making monsters. And listen, they're talking about the community policing, right? They need to, don't forget, I wouldn't say wash your hand off the junior high and senior high, but the primary school is where the bullying starts, where they're taking this one little lunch money or taking this one food or whatever. We need to, don't forget the primary school. See, the parents, these homes, then where these children go, people say the police fail. They might fail in some ways, but this thing, man, we got to, like how you say, who would take responsibility? We need to take responsibility, where the man take Parents need to take responsibility for the action our children making. Some parents, they're trying their best with their children, and the children still go and mess up. That's why I say it's different situations.
I wanna read a comment to you from one of our Facebook viewers. To those who abuse, the sin is yours, the crime is yours, and the shame is yours. To those who protect the perpetrators, blaming the victims only masks the evil within, making you as guilty as those who abuse. Stand up for the innocent or go down with the rest.
But you know, as victims, we have a responsibility also, right? The law still goes to us too, right? When we was in a home, I don't know, you might say, don't even care if it wasn't your real parents, you grew up in a home. Someone should have been there to teach you right and wrong, all right? Don't do this, don't do that. When you reach a certain age, you get a mind of your own, you make your decision. Even a baby, if you push your hand in the fun, you can get hit. There's consequences, come on. My brain mightn't be working, they might be stinking, think there's woman. Some of them on drugs, not just weed. They on pills, ecstasy, cocaine, and all kind of stuff. As parents, we need to step up to the plate. This thing with the community policing, like I was saying, the Parents Teachers Association in the whole Bahamas need to get them and the union, the president of the union, teachers union, them. They need to sit down and work with the government, or everybody work together and let the parents know, look, if your children come in these schools, hurting other people's children, who's sending their children to learn, it's some consequences. So parents, we can start telling our children, look, if you do this, I can get in trouble. But because we know it only could be the child and we can get some consequences, we get with for not doing our responsibility, so much crap happening. But if they start setting example, I thank God for Mr. Williams. Every small people like that director in the prosecution office could stand up to the plate. People like Rose, them, to speak the truth. And keep in mind, all of us are not perfect. All of the things we could improve. Rose, there are things you could improve in, I could improve in, Mr. Williams could improve in. That's how life go. But don't just sit down. If you can comment or you have something to say, man, don't worry. But I mean, you ain't trying to hurt no one feeling or disrespectful, right? But the truth don't really care when it comes. Right is right and wrong is wrong. The little girl only get a baby brain, but you know, like I tell you, some of these little girls, some in the school, they need to do drug tests on our children. You remember?
I want to read a comment to you.
I keep saying to y'all,
listen to this caller.
Involving myself in it. I'm pointing no finger.
Listen to this caller. Oswald says, they said this man was having sex with this girl from 2019 to 2020. So she was not 14. We seem to be missing the point. She was, well, I don't know how he added. Well, he said she was 10 or 11, depending on her birthday. I don't think she was that young. It's now what, 2022? I would say maybe 12. I'm not sure. But anyway, the point he was making is that by the time that he was caught, she was 14 at the time. But he'd been having sex with him for a while. So she was possibly younger than 14 when they started having sex.
Do you think we should take randomly drug tests of our children in these schools? Knowing that we're finding cocaine and all kind of other drugs and they carrying on like animals, are they fighting and chucking the girls getting on like boys? You think we need random drug tests and more psychologists to come in? Because they having problems in their home, maybe they being molested, maybe their parents making them feel like they's woman and man. Girl, go out there and make that money. Dying nothing if you're 14 or 15, the light bill got to pay. And these so-called letting their boyfriend have sex with their little boys and their little girls. That's sad, no. I mean, we can't on back because we hear this 40 and this 40, and everybody looking at how old the man is. It's waste of things, it's bad things. None is different than the other. All is serious we need to pay attention to.
All right. Thank you so much for calling.
They're selling their children them to help pay bills. Oh, no good.
Thanks for calling. I have a comment from Siobhan, who was just a guest on the show a couple of days ago. Siobhan says, I have seen countless examples of victim blaming in my work as an activist and media commentator. The justifications may change, but they are never acceptable. We must openly challenge this kind of poisonous and dehumanizing discourse in our communities and mass media. Survivors deserve respect as they engage in the healing process, not further victimization. Collectively, we must learn how to become a compassionate witness. We cannot overcome injustice if we keep blaming the victim. And Siobhan got cut off because the message was a little too long. Rochelle says, wow, if that's true, then it makes it even worse. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, good afternoon, Michelle. I can hardly hear you, though. I can producer to tell you.
Okay. Go ahead.
Right. I just want to comment. I mean, I know you're flabbergasted right now and you feel down and out. But you know what's so sad when you say what Mayor Monroe QC explained last night, the loopholes in the system. You know, it's terrible. Hey, when you see loopholes in the system for a child who could be molested from the age of 12, not say molested, but was actually given voluntary sex from the age of 12. Come on. Any man knows that the child is not able to give consensual sex until they're 16 or 17. So why would he go fool with a child at that age? You see what I mean? So it shouldn't be no loopholes. It should be a straight mandatory sentence for him.
But clearly we have to change the laws if that is the case.
Thank you. We have to change the laws, and that's the problem. You see, because we got people in power who don't care to change the laws, Michelle. They write these laws to have these loopholes in them. It's crazy. It's just crazy for you to even have a loophole for that. That's dumb and stupid.
Well, here's what I think needs to happen as far as that is concerned. And again, I'm not a legal mind, so maybe a lawyer could tell me why this can't happen. In the United States, I believe, in certain cases, when you commit a particular type of crime, you have committed that crime against the state, even though it has been committed against an individual. And so the individual doesn't need to come forward, or the individual doesn't need to say, well, I changed my mind. If they say that, you have committed that crime against the state, so you still can deal.
And then they could get locked up too for changing their mind.
And perhaps we need to look at our laws to the degree where when you commit this kind of offense, this is not an offense only against that individual who may become a hostile witness because, she may not, she may not want this person to be prosecuted. But if you have committed that crime against the state, then the state takes over. So you could afford to say you ain't showing up. But if we have evidence that we caught this man, allegedly in the act, you were impregnated by him, as the DNA evidence will show, then you can further don't show up to court.
Thank you.
But he will be dealt with by the state.
Michelle,
now, maybe I need a legal mind to tell me why that ain't being done or why it can't work or whatever. But to me, that's the solution.
And Michelle, I want to make this comment. I could remember I had an incident before where I went to court, and the guy told me, the prosecutor told me, it doesn't matter whether my people change their mind, my witness change their mind, you still can get prosecuted because the state takes over. So there is laws on our books like that. Don't think it isn't happening.
But clearly they must not apply to all.
Not everything.
Yeah.
That's all. But there are laws on the books like that. Don't let them fool you. Let me tell you something. These people are malicious. They are people who are in high places who are protecting the evil ones. And you must realize that by now, Michelle. There are people in high places who are protecting evil people. And then not only that, they got these large people, and I hate to come on and say it like that, but allegedly, these large people who have, they have certain signs they show in court, and then they just get off scot-free. So we got to be careful, man. There's too much evil going on in this society and in our world.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you for calling. We have to take a quick break. Boy, I tell you, I got to be so careful what I say. But we really got to clean up the mess. We got to clean up the mess in this society. That's the nice way to say what I really want to say. I can leave it at that. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company on this TGIF open line show. We're talking about the week that was, and obviously the story that is trending is about this plea deal with this 40-year-old gray hip man who decides to sex a 14-year-old girl, get her pregnant, and receives 4 years because he took a plea deal. And some people are saying you're supposed to lose him in jail. I know that's not proper English. That's Bahamianese. You're supposed to lose him in jail. But after listening to the Minister of National Security last night, I say, wow, we got a serious problem. Let me look at a couple of your comments from Facebook. So Siobhan says, collectively, we must learn how to become a compassionate witness. We cannot overcome injustice if we keep blaming the victim for what happened to them. And Gleaston says, no, the government's part of the community. The community sets the standard. What is the standard? Siobhan again says, victim blaming creates irresponsible cowards. These types of individuals should not live within our society and around our loved ones. It's time we conduct soul searching and expose these crimes against humanity. And also I'll say, okay, let's say she willingly could. Okay, let me try that again. Okay, let's say she willingly consented to sex, but did she also willingly want to have his child? I really don't care one way or the other, Oswald, because at 14, she cannot make a rational decision at 14. How many times have we seen, there's this program that I watched on television. It was a series where they were trying to have an intervention with these girls who think it's cute to have a baby as a teenager. Because they think that's a doll. They don't realize that's a whole human being that you are now responsible for, at least until they're 18, right? And so because they had this huge problem with teenage pregnancy in this particular town in the United States where this documentary or program was conducted. And so what they started to do was they started to get girls who were at risk, who were doing risky things and, talking about they want to have a baby and all this kind of stuff. These little children. And they got one of those realistic babies that cries and, urinates and requires feeding and all this kind of stuff, And the girl had to take care of this child over a course of a weekend. And they couldn't leave the child anywhere. They couldn't say, well, I go and hang out with friends. Everywhere they went, they had to take this very realistic doll, and they had to care for this child. And after a weekend of dealing with this crying baby, and you got to get up and feed this child, and you got to change the child, and you got to do it, and you can't go to. Those girls were like, okay, maybe I don't want to do this. And then they took it a step further. And with a certain degree of supervision, they made them care for a real baby. And at one point, there was this one particular girl who was very headstrong. And she figured, okay, this ain't no big deal. But when that real baby came on the scene, she realized she started to feel overwhelmed. And at one point, she was just like, I don't want to be bothered with this. This is not my child. They were like, no, this is your child. Today, this is your child. No, you need to take your child. But at the end of the day, she was like, okay, I really don't think I am ready to deal with this. At 14, they believe that they could, that's no big deal. Having a baby is cute. And I could dress her up in pretty clothes. And I could put the little beret in her hair. It's cute. They don't understand the level of responsibility. So my point, Oswald, is she may have wanted to have a child. It's being alleged that she was the one who said she did not want to have protected sex. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. So she may have wanted to have a child. The point is, she is a child herself. And the person within this equation who is supposed to be the adult is the 40-year-old man. So even if she came on to him, even if she pursued him, even if she said she wanted to have his child, she is a child. At what point do we not realize that she's not capable of making those decisions? At what point do we say, you are the adult in this equation? So people who say, oh, she womanish, or she forward, or she going looking for that, you all need to do better, man. Because he's supposed to be an adult. We need to stop excusing bad behavior and blaming the victim. Because whether she realizes it or not, she is a victim. But as long as we continue to have this narrative of, oh, that's what she gets for being forward. So does the same apply to a 6-year-old child who was raped by her father? Was she being forward with him? Where do we draw the line? Where do we, at some point, people, we have to say enough is enough. We cannot continue to excuse these human beings of these heinous acts because we trying to put the blame where it ain't supposed to be. I don't care how much she pursued him. She is a 14-year-old child. All these women around here who gain it away, throwing it in your face. You got to go with a 14-year-old girl in school uniform so you know she's a child? That's a sign of a sick mind. And we need to stop excusing it and putting the blame everywhere else than where it's supposed to be. Enough is enough, man. Enough is enough. This will wear you out because we have a societal problem. For anybody to say she going looking for that, well, at what point do we not say, why was he not a responsible adult? Oh my God. Siobhan says, any right-thinking and decent individual will not try to justify this perverted behavior. I dare if she went to his place several times or thought she was in love. She is a minor and legally cannot consent to sexual intercourse. Let's place the blame where it should be and stop this nonsense. Oh my God, this is tiring. For people to actually have that kind of attitude. Oh, you think you're a woman, you get what you look at, you're gone. But so no responsibility on his part. None. Because he's so weak that he couldn't resist this 14-year-old temptress. Y'all need to stop. Siobhan again, as a mature and beautiful woman, many younger men may pass at me, but as a responsible and decent adult, I know my boundaries and I know better not to even entertain them. Why we must hold ourselves accountable. Janet Doe says social services needs to deal with those old cases. Rochelle says, I would love to hear what her parents have to say. And Gleason says, a turning away from God invites godless behavior. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Happy Friday. So, but the you having today, there ain't nothing to be happy about. In terms of what we're talking about, these grown-ups, children have to be careful outside of school, and they got to be careful in their home, outside of school, and in the school. It's egregious. They should have given him at least what the law requires: 7 years for the first time, 14 for the second, and life for the third. They're supposed to start him off with 7 years. Good day.
All right. Thanks for calling. To the minister's point, if the case is, well, we're afraid to take this to court because, the child or the victim may not testify, whatever. Again, my recommendation is that we look at changing our laws so that this is not a crime against an individual, but a crime against the state. So you could afford, don't show up and testify. He's still gonna face it. That's where we need to go. And we need to change that penal code. It's just mind blowing that in 2022 we have something in writing that says a 7-year-old can give consent. Unbelievable. Somebody sent me a message today via WhatsApp. It says archaic laws of the Bahamas. By law in the Bahamas, a pervert can rape a newborn and get the child's 2 drunken parents to sign for the baby a marriage license consent form. It's called a certificate of consent for marriage of a minor. Where do we live? Is this the Bahamas? We really consider ourselves to be a civilized society, and that nonsense still on the books? We can't be serious. Oh my God. The numbers to call: 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. WhatsApp number is 824-9952, 824-9952. So Oswald said, so it looks like it's easy to plea deal, you get less time. Well, yeah, apparently so. Apparently so. That's the reality of the country in which we live. And, a lot of people are still saying, Wayne Monroe was wrong for saying it, and he giving people ideas. But the reality is, if that's what our laws allow for, then we need to fix the laws. We need to fix the laws. If the penal code say it, come on, man. What is it going to take for us to fix that? Those of you who have children out there, I want you to think of your 7-year-old. We cannot be serious if we allowing that to stay as is. Come on, man. Oh, my God. Perlene says, all of our laws in the Bahamas have loopholes, like a leaking old bucket with lots of holes. Well, we got to fix that. We got to fix that. Helen says, I would like to know what part of the world is that. Is that a caller for the show? Caller, welcome to GPS. Caller, I'm hearing a lot of background noise. I don't know what you're doing, but.
Okay, I was driving. I just put on the side of the road right now. Okay, Miss Miller, it's Shanique Miller, eh?
No, Michelle Malcolm is the name.
Okay, there you go. Sorry. Sorry. Miss Malcolm. Yeah, I'm a first-time caller. Mm-hmm. And I love your show.
Thank you.
Right, but with all the you say and I say was going on about the child. Mm-hmm. My concept on that is all those people who have those negative thoughts about it and who keep saying things about it, ask them if it was their child, what would have they done? And let it have been their child.
All right.
Yes, that's all I ever say. Let's ask a question. Let it have been their child.
Yeah.
Because that's totally. I don't know what to say about that. Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling. I appreciate you calling the show. Clearly, I get what he's saying. And if that is the case, then we need to fix the problem, plug up the loopholes. Again, A legal mind would have to correct me if it can't be done, but I don't see why we can't change the law so that you're not committing a crime against an individual, but the state. So the individual could afford to say, I'm not testifying against him. Yeah, go sit down. You ain't got to testify. He committed a crime against the state. That's number one. Number two, we need a court that deals specifically with these issues so you don't have to wait 3, 4, 5 years for your case to come up. Swift justice. And then we wouldn't have to be making these plea deals where you get a slap on the wrist for such a heinous act because we're scared if we take you to court, you could possibly win your case because we're not going to get cooperation from the witness. Just me thinking out loud. I don't know. I'm not a legal mind, so maybe what I say ain't making no sense. But maybe, just maybe, boy, I tell you. Gleason says these laws should never have been written. Boy, I don't know how they was thinking, but anyhow. Rochelle says these governments not changing anything in this country. We gotta require more, man. Gleason says, remember this when FNM and PLP are playing pass the blame. Here's the evidence, the physical proof, good governance. Is that a caller? Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yeah,
okay, you need to turn your radio down or whatever you're listening on because we're getting some serious feedback.
Yeah, I just want to tell them one thing. The laws they have about the consent.
About what?
About consent, about having intercourse.
Right.
What about you? You can't even drive a car or vote.
Unless you're 18. Unless you're 18. Agree. Mm-hmm.
They said 18.
18.
So, you said these people lost, you know. These people lost. A 14-year-old child don't even. I driving now with my 13-year-old girl up right there tomorrow, and I going to get a hair fix or she having a little party tomorrow for, you know what I mean? And I listened to your show and I left gazing on her like late sitting on the chair next to me, you know. And I mean I'm a dad, but I'm just looking at her body. I'm saying a big growing grave. I don't even know what to call him. But what to do with him? Castrate. I like the show.
Thank you for calling.
Because if we don't do it, it's gonna get aroused again, and it gains someplace else. Castrate. Take it off, so you don't use it again.
Thanks for calling. You know, fathers, mothers, I want you to look at your child. And I want you to understand this in this conversation. You may be doing everything you can to raise that child right. But there's some perverts out there who ain't looking at your child as a child. They are looking at your 12-year-old and your 10-year-old and yes, we have had cases of children that young being impregnated in this country. They ain't looking at them as a child. So before you sit up and talk about, she going to look for that, understand something. You may have raised your child right, and your child don't even have to be going, quote unquote, looking for nothing. But they don't see your child as a child. Do you know how many cases in this country of young girls who have been wooed by men? Groomed by men? Not that they were forward. And we do have a lot of societal problems in this country. We do have a lot of broken homes. We do, they say that the father in the home is the first love of the girl. In other words, she watches how her father loves his wife, her mother, and she learns that this is how I should be treated by a man from her father. So when we have all of these homes where the father is absent, that creates a void. It creates a problem. So you have some young ladies who really just looking for love, unfortunately in the wrong place. And you got some lousy Negroes calling themselves man. You ain't no man, you're a male. But no man would do that to a 14-year-old girl. You ain't no man. Just because you're a male don't make you a man. And you have some of them who preying on these girls because they know these girls come from a troubled home. So for all of y'all there who talking about she look for that, I hope you don't have no young children who they could prey on. Enough is enough. We have to stop blaming the victim in this country and make these people face the fullest brunt of the law for the crimes that they commit. And you know what's so sad? You know how much of that going on in this town right now? Anyhow, let me calm myself down. Gleason says, lo and behold, you don't think these guys are drunk. Castration is real in a Muslim country. Guys, we have to do better as a society. I am happy for whoever called the authorities, whoever said this is wrong and called the authorities. Kudos to you for getting involved. Congratulations for being a stand-up citizen. And maybe if we had more people doing that, these perverts would think twice before they go abusing these young people. I want to encourage you, get involved. Call the police. Do something. Because if you don't, who knows how long that abuse will go on. And the DPP was talking about, either DPP or Minister, I can't remember which one, talking about impact on the victim. How much more impact you want than impregnating a 14-year-old girl? Her life was forever changed. And then you got this child that will be raised by a child that is continuing this cycle. Anyhow, my time gone, y'all. Oh my God. See you guys next week. On Monday, we have a great show planned for you. We're going to be talking about divine or divination. Because people doing all kind of strange things in the name of the Lord. We can talk about that on Monday. Have a good weekend, everybody. I'm out of here. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Take care.